I used to watch her walk around campus, and she always had bell bottoms and Chuck Taylors on, and I used to think
Oh
she was
my
like
gosh.
super nerdy hot.
Hey guys, so just the other day this channel hit 4,000 subscribers and I wanted to do something fun, so I thought we would do a Q&A because I've never taken questions from y'all before, and I ended up getting a ton through my Instagram direct messages and Facebook messages, and so I'm just going to sit here and go through a few of them. So the first question here, okay, is I want to know how you started YouTube, what made you want to, also how did John and I meet. So John is just right around the corner here making brownies. If you hear any noise, that's what's going on. Anyway, so let's see. I started YouTube because I had a blog and I loved blogging. It was just fulltimewifelife.com. It's still there if you look it up, but I just haven't posted there in a really long time. So I had a blog and I would just share family moments. I had this little thing called mini moments, and I would just take random little pictures throughout our homeschool day, or our homeschool week, and I think it was like Monday mini moments or something, and I would post it on Mondays, and I really enjoyed it. But then I wanted to share our school planner, and so that was really hard. It was really hard for me to keep up with posting pictures on my blog, so I just did a video of my school planner, and I just I'll put the video up here so you can see. That was my first official video. So I made it on my YouTube and figured out how to link it onto my blog post, but what I didn't realize is that you could still see it on YouTube. So then I started getting these messages, and I didn't have like an official channel. I think the channel name was just my actual name, so I had no idea like how public this was. So then I started getting little notifications of people subscribing, and I was like, what is this? So then I looked, and I ended up with 75 subscribers from that video. And I was like, that was so much easier to share that than to share it on my blog. Because I think I had 150 views or whatever. I mean, actually it was quite a few views. Maybe it was 1,000 views on that video by the time that I realized. And there were only 50 hits on my blog. So I was like, wow, this is a much easier way to share with people and to get what I want to get out there. And so I awkwardly started YouTube at that point, and I would just post them to you laughing at me. I would just post it on my blog, and so that my blog followers would just see it on YouTube, and it just kind of it became a natural thing. But initially I was very weirded out by it, and I was completely unsure of it, and up until 3 months ago I didn't even know how to really use it the right way. So that's how that started. It was a little bit of an accident. Once I realized that my whole name and all that stuff was out there, I quickly went and kind of branded the channel, so to speak, so that it was, the Full-Time Wife Life name. Okay, and then how John and I met. So John and I met in high school, and I did not like him at first. Sorry, he's here, so this stinks for him. I saw him for a couple of years at our school, and I remember one day walking past him, and he was this, he wore tight pants, and he was a skateboarder, and he had long hair. Man, I hope I can find a picture to put in here. I really hope I can find a picture.
Yeah, I got one.
You got one? Okay. He looked like Spicoli from Fast Times. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. There's Sean when we met. Anyway, so I was like, oh, he, has nothing going for him. And so I was so stuck up about it. I don't know. So I was leading a Bible study in school, and one day he showed up, and I'm like, what is he doing here? This is ridiculous. He's just here for the free pizza. I was such a jerk. What the heck? And he came and sat in the Bible study, and I was passing things out, and I was clearing my throat. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So he came with one of my friends, and I was clearing my throat, and he was clearing his throat, kind of making fun of me. And I'm like, this is like solidifying everything I ever thought about this kid. He's such a jerk. But then, I mean, eventually it became very fun, and he was obviously flirting with me, which, I don't know, it was just like the sweetest. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah.
So, wait, I have a little bit more. You have something to say about that specific day?
No, I have something to say about my first time I saw you.
Don't, please don't.
I have to.
No, okay.
Okay.
And so anyway, this is taking forever. I'm gonna have a hard time getting through all these questions. Okay, so let me gather my thoughts. So I liked him, but I had a boyfriend. You know, it was high school, and he had a girlfriend, and neither one of us were like really making a move toward one another. And a few weeks later, I mean, it was so obvious to everyone that we were like totally into each other. A few weeks later, I remember one of my girlfriends was like, "Oh, Julia is gonna ask him to homecoming," and I was like, "No, she's not. No, that's, how dare she?" But like, I had a boyfriend. He had a girlfriend. It's like, so, obviously we were like set up for a great relationship here. Oh yeah. So then our Bible study prayer request turned into like, I need to break up with my girlfriend, but I don't want to break her heart. And we were like trying to feel each other out, you know, like, anyway, long story short, it turned into this, and this, I just feel so weird saying this. We ended up going to homecoming with our dates, but we ended up leaving together and like going to a party afterwards together, but not like a bad party. It was like, you know, movie night.
Stop.
So anyway,
That's it.
yes, that is the story. And we listened to Hanson in my car, and knowing that he enjoyed this, I was like feeling him out to make sure that he could, you know, hang with me. And he loved the Hanson song. He loved U2, the U2 song. And the rest is history. What do you want to say? Go ahead.
You were just I was the skater punk, but she was the really cute chorus girl. And I used to watch her walk around campus, and she always had bell bottoms and Chuck Taylors on. And I used to think she was like super nerdy hot. And yeah. That was pretty much it.
Oh, that was fun to relive. Okay, let's move on. You embarrassed me.
That's good enough. Keep going.
Okay. Okie dokie. Okay. I want to know how you lose the baby weight and how you keep up with life with a new baby. Let's see. That's a hard one because I have not lost the baby weight this time yet. That is a hard question. I mean, with the other kids, I got back to exercising way too early, and I didn't have much self-care. I was just worried about losing weight, so I wouldn't recommend that. It's just balance, honestly, like healthy eating and being active. And now I have 4 kids, so I don't really have an opportunity to not be active. But in the past, I just, you know, I don't know. I love free childcare at the gym. I don't know if I was going to work out or if I was going for the free childcare, but yeah, life's just about balance. Keeping up, you know, your calories so you can still nurse, but making those calories good choices and not Oreos, I guess. Let's see. Do you have quiet time for your kids? What age do they transition from sleeping to just being quiet? And what do your kids do during quiet time, especially before they can read? Okay, so I do have a tip for this. My kids all stopped napping right before they were about 2 years old, and that was important to me. I mean, initially I didn't appreciate that, but it became a good thing because then they would go to bed really early. So my kids even still are in bed at like 7:30 or 8, even at 6 and 8 years old, which is a huge plus for me. But when they stopped with napping, we switched them to quiet time, and we call it quiet time. And usually it's after lunch. Now it's right after school. So I'll I'll go with what we're doing right now. So now we finish school around 1 or 2 o'clock. We finish by turning the lights down in the house and doing our read aloud. That helps calm everyone down. And then at that point, we've all been together all day long. So everybody's really kind of ready for a little break before we switch into them all playing together, going outside, whatever. So at this point in time, what we do is I separate them all to either the playroom, their bedrooms, my bedroom, the living room, but they all have their own space. They can read, they can play dolls, they can do whatever, but we don't turn on electronics and we don't talk. We're just alone. And so as long as they are quiet and peaceful, I don't disturb them. I don't even really ask what they're doing, obviously within reason. My 3-year-old, why did I just say he was 2? My 3-year-old stays near me in a room where I can continue to check on him. Sometimes I have to set him up. Right now my older 2 are looking at books. My daughter loves reading her chapter books. My son is really getting into the illustrated books right now. So that's kind of what they do, and they love to play. And it's helpful because they have been together all day long, that by that time, usually like, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're all kind of craving our alone time. But it was something that we had to work on when my daughter, when she was our only kid who needed quiet time. So we used to have to walk her back to her room a few times, say it's quiet time, and 1 hour is an appropriate amount of time. But yeah, they still wander out and you still have to take them back and just remind them this is quiet time, and we'll play in 1 hour, we'll play in 35 minutes, we'll play in 15 minutes, and then everyone knows that when quiet time's over, they go outside, they run out some energy, and then our whole afternoon starts at that point. Okay, let's see, what is the next question?
I can use coconut oil instead of vegetable oil, right?
Yeah, but I would just use the vegetable oil because it's a box mix. It's not like I wouldn't waste the coconut oil on the junk anyway. Okay.
It's canola oil, vegetable oil.
No, but it works too.
Olive oil?
Don't use olive oil, that would taste awful. Okay, coconut oil would be fine. My daughter is 5 and homeschooled and doesn't have close relationships, and I know she's yearning for a consistent friend where she doesn't always have to say bye after playing and having fun at the park. There's no co-ops around me. Any suggestions, or have you had the thought of sending your kids to school because they want a best friend or a bond outside of the home? That is hard because we do live in a community where we have tons of co-ops and opportunities like that. But I would suggest sports teams or dance classes, gymnastics classes, anything like that, and just try to make a connection with one of the parents, because for me, my daughter has ended up with quite a few friends from dance class, and I didn't necessarily just want all of her friends to be homeschooled. And so I started making connections with different moms in the dance classes, and through us talking, did she say how old she was? Did she say 5?
5.
Yeah, that's right, when Bella started dance class. Okay, so through making connections with these moms, and we would be in conversation and kind of hanging out after dance class, and then the girls were kind of stuck around us and they got to know each other because us moms were talking, and it's important to know the parents anyway. It just kind of naturally formed relationships. So I would suggest something like that, especially if there's no co-ops to be involved with, a dance class or a soccer team or a karate class, Awanas at church, things like that are great social outlets where they'll make friends, and as long as you're making friends as well, it should work out. Let's see. What curriculum do you use? Can you explain the Charlotte Mason method? I will link a video up here that explains the Charlotte Mason method well, much better than I could. What curriculum do we use? We're a total mix of a bunch of different things, but I am transitioning each year a little closer and a little closer to being as much of the, using as much of the Charlotte Mason method as possible. There's a couple of things that I'm not willing to give up that's not technically Charlotte Mason: Story of the World and Apologia. I love both of those, and they really work for us, and so I don't know that I'll ever completely give up our science or our history for that, but
Story of the World is awesome.
Story of the World. I mean, I've even seen people on the Charlotte Mason forums say, oh, Story of the World is pretty much a Charlotte Mason approved method. What is my favorite video that I've made so far, and when am I seeing Trish next? So I just saw Trish 2 days ago, Trish, at the homeschooling convention. I ran into her and I was like, hey, and we hung out for half a second. And then I was running off to the cafeteria and she was meeting up with some other people, so I thought, oh, I'll catch you later, but I never ran into her again. So if you have been keeping up with her Instagram and YouTube, she has been all over the place at that convention. So she was very busy. What is my favorite video that I have made so far? Absolutely, hands down, my favorite video that I've made so far is the week in our homeschool, because I think it was about 1.5 years ago, but I've already watched that video 5 times again, and just like, oh, they were so little, or oh my goodness, because our homeschool changes constantly, year to year. It's so different every year, and so I love to look back on that, and it already seems like it was such a, way more simple time in our life, and it's so nice to have that documented, and I plan on doing that again this upcoming school year. It was a lot of work, but I so appreciate having that one. Do you have a favorite, John?
Favorite video?
Mm-hmm. I also like some of my older meal videos, because whenever I'm having like a writer's block with making our meal plan, I look back and I'm like, oh, I haven't made that in a long time. Sorry.
Well, I would say the one that was most recent would be the homebirth video of Annabeth.
Oh, of course, I should have totally said that. Yeah, that was a great one. I love that one. I think anything that we look back on as parents and just see our kids.
I like the day in the lives are fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else? Okay. Okay. What made you decide to homeschool, and is your family complete as the size at 6? What made me decide to homeschool? That's an easier question to answer first. I've said this story a few times, but what made us decide to homeschool? I had my daughter signed up. She was 3 or 4. I had her signed up for the local private school. It starts at preschool and it goes all the way through senior year. And I had just finished my teaching degree, and so I had, just a fresh perspective of the public schools around our area, and I was a little nervous about sending her off. I think I had maybe had a couple of bad experiences, and so, but whatever. So we were sending her to the preschool. She was basically ready to go. We went school shopping, and the backpacks just looked so big on her, and there's a moth. Oop. The backpacks just looked so big on her, and something inside me was just like, this is so wrong, this is not right. And she was young enough that it wasn't really that big of it was not a giant leap of faith, because it was technically just preschool, and she still, I think at that point, could have gone to a whole another year of preschool before kindergarten. So it was just like 3 days before school was technically about to start, and I just was like, John, this doesn't feel right. Can we just homeschool? Can we just homeschool just for preschool? Like, just kind of homeschool, not even, because homeschool is a hot topic for people when it's first being introduced. I think if you have some, negative ideas about it, or you've seen people who've homeschooled and maybe it wasn't in the best light, then, So I remember asking him, and he was just kind of like, okay, but I mean, as long as it's just for preschool, but then we'll definitely send her for kinder. He was very hesitant, and I was pretty confident. I think I had been on the 1 + 1 + 1 = 1 blog, and I was like, well, I'm a teacher, I can totally do this. And so I was hoping it was more for the long haul. Anyway, so after that first preschool year, our hearts just had completely changed, and we were so set on homeschool. Do you think I'm saying this right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that first year, we couldn't imagine not homeschooling. At that point, Jesse was about 18 months old, I think, to maybe he was over 2. And we had a small group in our church that we were a part of. And I remember standing in the group one night. We had done like a meal exchange, freezer meal exchange, and we were all talking, and we were getting ready for the following fall. And everyone was talking about their school plans. And one of them was like, oh yeah, we're homeschooling, and none of us had really talked about it yet. And she was like, yeah, we're homeschooling, and another person was like, well, we're homeschooling, and I was like, well, we're homeschooling, and then it kind of just became this really, had already been friends for a long time, and so it was like this automatic small group of us, and all of our kids were preschool, kindergarten age. And I'm so thankful that we have that, and we're all still on this homeschooling journey together now, 5-6 years later. So that was a huge blessing, and that definitely helped us make the decision to homeschool.
Yeah, I'm gonna say too. I think it also, I think it solidified the decision more. Solidified the right word?
Mm.
Is the proper word? Okay.
It's midnight, so we've. Any words ago at this point.
But as the kids got older too, not just the first year, because the first year gave us confidence toward it, but as the kids got older and we realized that there's so much room for flexibility and creativity with homeschooling, and each kid might have a different learning ability, might have different disabilities, different advantages, different disadvantages, and the fact that you can give that one-on-one attention to each child and meet them where they need to be met is irreplaceable. So I think it definitely made us feel a lot more confident in homeschooling the older they got.
Absolutely.
The more we saw how screwed up they were.
No, how screwed up we are. No. Every year we have a new reason and a new. We realize a little more how thankful we are that we've homeschooled, and we have a new reason to drop into the bucket of why we homeschool. I mean, even right now, his job just took a big turn recently within the last year, and his hours completely changed, and it was so easy to kind of like fall right into our new pattern because of that. And then he was just offered a huge change in his job, and we didn't have to deny it right away, because we knew that if he did take this opportunity and we were to be uprooted from our town, that we could fall right in line with that because of homeschooling. And actually, homeschooling is one of the main reasons we did not take that opportunity, because we do have a very close-knit homeschooling community. But regardless of that, just knowing that nothing could really disturb that peace, I think, in our house, and no kind of schedule change, because we homeschool. And so wherever his job takes him, we can still remain a very close-knit family unit, whether that means that he's off Mondays and Tuesdays, and we school Wednesday through Sunday, and we take Mondays and Tuesdays off as our weekend. It's just a huge blessing. So that's been the big thing this year. But every year we add something new, a new piece to the puzzle on why we homeschool. Okay. Oh, okay. And is your family complete as the size of 6? We don't know. Probably not. Every time we have a kid, we're like, this is totally the last kid. And then they're just so sweet. So it's so hard. I mean, absolutely right now, it is not anywhere on our radar. Yeah, so.
We don't know.
But we are having a hard time making that a permanent decision, if that's not getting too personal. Just to like purposefully bring infertility into our marriage, I don't know. I don't think either one of us are comfortable with that decision at this point. So, who are your favorite homeschooling YouTubers to watch? I am all over the place with YouTube. So, a lot of times I find YouTubers just by searching a certain topic. So that's hard. Let's say like the first homeschooling YouTuber that I found was A Farmhouse Full. She was very encouraging. I think I follow more bloggers than YouTubers. So the 1 + 1 + 1 = 1 and Confessions of a Homeschooler, although she also has a YouTube channel. I don't know. That's a hard question. What can you think of anybody who I watch on repeat more often? I loved Organized Mom. I love Joy Filled Journey. Love Stars with Jewels. I love Sodbuster Living. She's having a great Charlotte Mason series going on over there. Oh my goodness. I love watching any of Sonia Schaefer's videos. Man. So many. There's so many. There's so many of you that are great out there that I love watching. So a lot of times it just comes by searching a topic, and then I get sucked in, and then I end up with so many videos. Okay. How do you organize your family photos and memorabilia like artwork from the kids? Well, I don't. I don't know. How do you? I don't know how to do that yet.
A pile on top of our fridge.
Yeah, a big pile on top of our fridge, shoved into our glove box, taped up on the walls places. I don't even have like a bulletin board or enough magnets on my refrigerator.
Sure.
We have a great organizational system for our kids' art projects. It is called Glad Bags.
And after 3 months, it's called the trash can.
That's my joke. That's what a Glad bag. Isn't it Glad that makes the?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Is that the brand of the garbage bags?
Yeah. I thought you meant Ziploc bags.
No, that is
You're probably right. I just ruined it, I'm
Zyrtec.
sorry.
It is not Zyrtec. Ziploc. Yeah, I think it's called Glad. Now I feel like an idiot. I hope that was funny. Was that funny? Okay. How do you make sure everything gets done with a newborn in the house? I don't. It doesn't get done. Here, I'll show you. Nothing's getting done.
Let's get down over here.
Brownies are getting done in the kitchen, but otherwise, no, nothing's happening. We even broke those blinds off and haven't got that finished.
Well, the curtain rod is still sitting there.
Yes, the curtain rod has been sitting there for like 4 weeks, so that's how we get stuff done. Okay.
Dude, it's very difficult. I mean, you do what you can, but you can't let what has to get done consume you.
Spoken like a dad who works. My friend just had the best advice, and she said, because something about having a 4th kid has really pushed me over the edge of just not being like so uptight about getting everything done. And she said, yeah, because she also just had her 4th, and she was like, I've just learned that you just do the next most important thing. So you have, you know, all these kids at your feet wanting, you know, do this, do that. And you just have to do the next most important thing because that's the only thing you can do. And it makes so much sense. Now, my mother-in-law came over today and she came in to pick up the kids and my house was a mess. And at that point, the next most important thing did not seem like a peaceful answer. It was more like, oh my gosh, everybody clean up, run, hurry, why did I clean up earlier? But that was the momentary freak out. And then, you know, so anyway, nothing gets done. Oh my goodness. Okay. Any advice for ones that are just at the learning to read age and struggles with it? Just now at the learning to read age? Okay. So my son has technically been at the learning to read age for a while. And my daughter, I don't even know if I'm the one who taught her to read. We went through a reading curriculum, but I feel like she was just born knowing how to read. And so my son was more of a struggle for me because he's now just shy of 6 years old. Like he'll be 6 next month. And he's really just now picking up on things that I feel like I've been trying to teach him for years. But what I have learned is that you can only teach them so much, but they're not going to read until they're ready. So technically the learning to read age could really, and I've heard it could really be up to like 9 or 10 years old. And you can get them to a certain point, you can try to push them to a certain point, but until that light bulb goes off and they're eager and they're ready, it's just really not going to happen and it's not going to be delightful. And I think that a lot of the joy and beauty in homeschooling is that you can wait, and you can wait until they're ready, and you can give them a little bit and wait and see until that turns into an eagerness. And I don't know, it's just exciting to see that light bulb moment. So I would just say, just don't push it and just wait until they're ready. And until that point, just read to them and let them enjoy it, and let them enjoy hearing the stories. And eventually that will make them want to read the stories themselves. And when they're ready, they'll just pick it up and they'll fly, and it'll be completely enjoyable because it will have been frustration free for you. And then you'll be able to see your kids love to read. And that is a very exciting thing as a mom. Okay. So I think that's everything that I have here. Let me just double check. Yes, that is it. Those are the questions that I had kind of flagged to answer in this video. If you have any questions that I didn't get to, or anything you are interested in, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I will try to make another video here, you know, within the next few weeks or a month or so, if there's anything else that you want to know. But thank you for sticking around. This is 31 minutes, and that was not intentional. I was like, hey John, do you mind if I have 10 minutes real quick to run off and make this video? So, sorry. They used to call me Gabby Abby when I was little, so there you go. Anyway, so thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you later. Bye.